As we know, there is now this big push for everyone to transition into tech. The remote work life, the skill that seems to never be ending, the jobs that seem to be coming and going are enticing people to change their professions and move into tech. And so there's always so many questions of, well, where do I start? What is the right path? How did you get into it? That is my number one question all the time. So today I'm going to share my journey into product management. I will say it is a mix of conventional and unconventional. You hear a lot of people will go to school maybe for like information systems, computer science, and kind of graduate and become a product manager or product owner. That is not exactly how it went. I took a way longer route, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It is 2013, and I have just changed my major from exercise science to computer science. I knew I didn't want to be a dentist anymore. I realized I was really good at math, and I just wanted to graduate. Not knowing what jobs come with computer science, not knowing what tech is like. I had nobody to tell me what would be the next steps after a computer science degree. Well, lo and behold, I found out. I end up graduating with a 2.7 GPA that landed me at the grand company of Microsoft. I started at Microsoft as a technical evangelist, or what they're known now as developer advocates. So essentially, I was coding and building solutions on all the latest and greatest tech that Microsoft had to offer, and kind of sharing it with the world, sharing it with companies, developers. Like, it was a lot of public speaking, a lot of traveling, a lot of conferences, a lot of networking. From there, I transitioned into being a TypeScript and JavaScript developer, in which I really feel like that grounded me a bit more because I had to really get solid in my software engineering principles again, that I kind of didn't have to worry about as much as a developer advocate. The interesting thing about my team was I was not tied to a product. I was tied to TypeScript and JavaScript. And they would just put me on projects that required my skill set. I didn't have that, oh, this is my baby, we're turning it into something, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing, right? And I think not being tied to a product made me feel like I was missing something. I wasn't accomplishing something for myself. I just felt like I was constantly building things and giving them away, but I wasn't super proud of anything I was doing. In turn, I was working with what is called Internet of Things. So besides being a TypeScript and JavaScript developer, I was also working on projects that required, using hardware to push data to the cloud. That's what Internet of Things is. And I really got into the hardware aspect of it. So I was like, oh, duh, we should go back to school for electrical engineering and, transition into hardware. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Lo and behold, it wasn't. I did, in fact, go to the University of Illinois at Chicago, AUIC, and I graduated with a Master's of Science in Electrical Engineering just to never use it. It's over there collecting dust. As I was graduating and working at the same time, I'm applying for jobs and I'm realizing, like, oh my goodness, if I become an electrical engineer, the lush remote life, the travel, the work-life balance that I had, not going to the office, all that, like, I have to give that up. And selfishly, I didn't want to. Lo and behold, I find a product management role, or at the time, Microsoft was calling it a program manager, in which I would be building developer tools for TypeScript and JavaScript developers. So it's really cool because I became my own customer. Wow, I know so many pain points. I have so many pain points. Like, it was very easy for me to relate, very easy for me to ideate, very easy for me to explain why certain things need to be built, what we were missing, and things like that. Because literally, I was building something for myself. I loved working on that team. I loved where we were going, the visions that I had for our project. But I was still craving something more, and that was that consumer feel. I realized everything I worked on was like business applications, enterprise applications. Like, it wasn't sexy, it wasn't fun. I wanted sexy and fun. I wanted to be able to look at somebody and be like, yeah, this is what I built, and anybody knew who it was. At the moment, the only people who cared what I did were other developers and engineers, which was fine. Those were my people. We were in it. But I wanted my work to be a little bit more widespread and well known. Fast forward a bit to I'm ready to transition, move on to the next thing, and boom, I get into the NBA. I come at a time where the NBA is starting their own digital transformation and they are building their own tech products, right? There's so much opportunity. There is so much to do. And I kid you not, the growth that I had in my first year, not only with the consumer application, but pretty much with a new product that we were building at the time, right? Like, so totally surpassed anything I had done in Microsoft for the 3 years that I was a product manager. Such a difference between business applications and consumer applications, like you won't even believe. For example, business applications, like they're really focused on user pain points and just making sure we address them, one at a time. We get some stakeholders in, what they want, what we have to address. But no one is banging down your door if a product is missing a small feature, right? Like they know it's coming, it's gonna come. They're happy when it comes, but as long as their working feature right now is top tier, no one is like down your throat, like I need this right now. Unless they're super passionate. But that's like one in a few. You move to a consumer application like the NBA app where there are people every day, every minute of the day, many times, especially at night, where any little thing goes wrong, any little feature they feel like is missing, then it's like, boom, we got to fix it right now. Like, this can't be the user experience. The user experience is so key in consumer applications, from the look, the feel, the flow. It's no longer about just getting something done like business applications. It is really about keeping people engaged and enticed. Just like it's a struggle to build out content, it is a struggle to make sure you have the best consumer application you can have. And the thing is with sports, everybody's like, well, it revolves around the season. Honestly, the season is year round. There's always something going on with basketball year round. And that's what made this job so cool, but so challenging at the same time. Was like, I'm always learning, always picking up something new. There's another project, something else has to be supported. This user reported this. This basketball player didn't like this. And boom, it has to get done. Learning how to manage not one, not two, but sometimes 5 to 10 stakeholders at a time and their needs has been like the push and the drive that I've been waiting for. And when I go back to talking about, when I was a software engineer, I felt like I didn't have a baby, like I didn't have a product. And it's like, now I have that. Now I feel like I have this baby and I'm letting it walk, or I'm letting it crawl. I have this baby, I'm letting it crawl, and I'm doing more things. I'm helping it, and now we're going to get it to walk on its own. And it's such like a stark difference to me than when I was a software engineer, because one, I wasn't making the vision for the project. Someone was telling us what the vision of the project was, versus now I'm such a big part of the vision of what we're moving towards. I get input and say so on why we should do this for users versus that. And you really see your ideas come to fruition. And I think that allows me to be very, very creative. Two, as a software engineer, you're very technical, very deep in the code. Previously, being a software engineer allows me to connect with my engineers as a PM, understand what might be stopping something, what's up with our frameworks, what's up with our architecture. Like, I can speak that language and I love that. But I don't have to get too deep into it. I don't have to think that deep into it. Versus as a software engineer, it's like, this architecture is broken, this code is broken. What are we doing? I used to have nightmares about bugs. Like, I would go to sleep thinking about coding bugs and wake up with a solution, which is kind of crazy. And now I go to sleep thinking about what's the next thing I want to push out or push for or get excited for with my team, right? Like, what is the next thing I'm going to do with the NBA? So just going to talk about just some key takeaways and tips from my unconventional journey. Number one, the path does not have to be linear. Like, yes, I did go to school. Yes, I did get a computer science degree, but I went through 6 years of different roles until I got into what I actually wanted to do. And in that, you do take some steps back because you're starting over, you're letting go of promotions, you're relearning, like not linear at all. Number two is no matter what role you were in tech, build up your technical skills at a high level, at least at a high level. It's easy for me to understand what's feasible and not what's not feasible, or like what is a short-term win and what is a long-term win with my engineers, knowing what we can and cannot build at the moment, knowing what's going to take more time. I had debugging sessions with my engineers. I'm able to find the problem and be like, hey, this is it. This might be, some code we need here, XYZ, and like that is such a powerful thing. You don't necessarily have to be technical in code. You could be technical in the analytics you're looking at. You could be very just thorough and deep in the product that you are owning, working on, selling, right? People will have questions. Make sure you are technical enough to have the answers. Number three is follow your passion, follow your heart. I love coding. I loved solving problems, but I realized that I was missing something. I am missing, that attachment to my work. I didn't have that. And I feel like without that constant craving, I would have never found my way here. Number four, just be open to change. I never thought I would leave Microsoft, to be honest. And in hindsight, it was the best thing for me at that time, right? I never thought when I became a software engineer, I would do anything else. Like I thought that was the best of the best, but there's so much opportunity for you to adapt, change, start something, stop something, and just figure out what you like, but it's all part of the journey. Every time you restart something, it is going to be a little tough, but that's a part of you getting to where you want to go. So just keep going. So that's pretty much all I have for you. I really hope that my journey is able to inspire someone or help someone. And of course, if you have any questions at all on being a product manager, what that means, or even being a software engineer, I'm still open to talking about those things. But yeah, like and subscribe for more, and see you all later.